Hi everyone, it's Sandra and this is Eat My Shorts, and I set up a migration zone about 20 days ago on this end. This is the bin that I harvested, I guess 19 days prior to that, so it's been 29 days since a half harvest of this bin. And so what I'm showing is by leaving a lot of the familiar in a worm bin at a harvest, you don't disrupt the cycling of the bin. The bin just keeps rolling. The worms just keep eating and multiplying. And you actually can probably, in the end, if your objective is vermicompost, you can probably actually produce more by not emptying the whole thing. So what I see right away is the worms have been on the surface here. They've been making, oops, and there's one there. They've been making beautiful castings. And you can actually see a little bit of that pool table thing happening on the side that I hope to be pulling out of here. So let's just take a look at that side just to aerate it, but also mix up any bits that I may want to pull out from there. Like if there are any large bits in there that I don't think will finish up. I just have a clean piece of brown paper here. I can just put any large bits on. I'm trying to keep the two halves separate. So obviously still worms in here. They didn't get the memo and migrate, but this vermicompost is damp. It's sticking to my fingers. The worms are like, hey, she's breaking up our party. Yes, I am. You're supposed to be migrating. 20 days. I guess you're cleaning this up, and good for you. You're cleaning it up. And you're leaving me cocoons. How sweet. So that's good. And you know, if you've watched my videos on harvesting, I don't mind if I pull worms out with a harvest because I just bait them out of the castings tote that I moved them to. So there's a little stick. That's something that won't get harvested. Yeah, so this material's in good shape, tons of worms in it, which, hey, I'm going to try tempting them over here with some fresh food. So let's look at under here, see if some worms responded to the migration. Remember, the tamale corn husks were a little dry, so I fed on top of them. They've obviously eaten. I went to lift up the brown paper. They've obviously eaten their brown paper topping, which is why I've brought some new stuff. So that's good. Here are the avocado pits that are kind of hardened off. The mushy one that I broke up, I imagine will be long gone. Ooh, look at all the springtail action on that avocado pit. They are really good at breaking up large material. And then the frass, or the waste excreted by springtails, and there's another little cluster there, the worms eat it. And obviously it contains microbes, and that's good for the worms as well. So here are the leaves I put in. These are shredded maple leaves, not frozen, not treated in any way. So yeah, I have springtails, but you know, no other big ugly critters came in with those leaves. You know, I have over the years, I've found the occasional slug that came in. There's another avocado pit opening. Great. And, you know, they stay in the bin. If you find a slug in the bin, just take it outside. Yeah, okay. So this cardboard I put in to the migration zone is drying. So it's probably a good reason why we saw lots of worms still in the vermicompost, and which I'm going to be harvesting because it was almost muddy. Yeah, worms love moisture. And here's the tamale wrappers. They are obviously, they're those little racetrack of tamales, but they do take a while for them to eat them. But in the meantime, they can lick up all the corn juices. But yeah, okay, there's muddy-ish worm castings at the bottom here, but that cardboard and everything was dry. So there are worms in this area, and so I will just do it again. The thing with migration is, you know, you're not expecting it to work just with a single migration. This is 20 days. There's another tamale wrapper. And so I'm just trying to condition the worms to expect food in this area. And so what I'm going to do is, see, I've loosely grabbed the big material, the material that's still going to go in the migration end. And the rest of this material, I get to push into the end where I'm going to be pulling out the harvest. Probably, now that I look at this material, probably the next time I'm in this bin, I'm going to be pulling out, see, look at all this stuff on the bottom. I'm going to be pulling out all of the vermicompost that is going to be on this side now. So it's probably going to take up more than half the bin when I just loosely pull out this big stuff. I am a no-fuss harvester. I do not take a long time to do it. I'm in and out. So there we go. You can just see on the bottom, castings do tend to accumulate on the bottom. And so what I need to do is I need to move this as far over as I can. Worms and all. And then start putting the bigger chunks right there. So I'll just slide my, cardboard pile over and lift up the paper and dump. There we go. So you see how I've now created a bigger end of vermicompost. So now it looks like I'll be harvesting from here over. Just pick up these big bits, put them where I want the worms to eat, and some cardboard spilled out the other end. It doesn't matter. All right, so now what I want to do is just put some more yummy food in there. Down the bottom, it was nice and moist, but in the middle, that cardboard was sort of dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig a hole here and dump some food in. Not going to get fancy about this. Just want to create this lovely, attractive area. Look at the pine cone for the worms. So the food is just previously frozen food scraps, some root vegetables, some tea leaves, some cilantro stems. I'll just empty that over. Again, I try to keep it away from the edges, which will deter, that went a bit close to the edge, which will deter fungus gnats, fruit flies from crawling down the edge into your bin. There we go. Spread it out a little bit. It's not overly moist, this food, so I'm not expecting this worm bin to all of a sudden rectify that dry cardboard problem. But on the other hand, there was more than enough moisture in this bin, and hopefully with me putting this new brown piece of paper on top, as well as replacing the bubble wrap, that will start to regulate the moisture. Now, that's a good point, that when you're encouraging migration, you want to keep the darkness and the moisture in the end where you want the worms to go. So I'm going to crunch up the cardboard there, and I'm going to cover up with bubble wrap, mostly the end where I want the worms to go. And so try to keep the worms. I'll just put the bubble wrap a little bit up the wall, fold it over on itself. There's always going to be wisps in here. So if I just fold it like that, the wisps will be fine. So I'm kind of going to air this end out. It won't hurt it. It'll help dry it. I don't sift, but anyway, it'll be a deterrent. The worms will start moving this way. Let's hope. Next check-in, I'm pulling out this, and we're going to check in to see how my migration went. All right, everyone. Bye for now.